Hi everybody, Joe Malarkey with you, Malarkey 365. Do you use a SIM tool other than Defender or Sentinel? Well, we're going to talk about how to get Defender information, alerts and whatnot, into that SIM tool in a very, very brief way, and we'll talk about your different options because it's a little confusing. Okay, everybody. So how do we get information from our Defender product? And again, Defender is a brand. It's not a specific thing, right? It's an umbrella brand that encompasses Defender for Endpoint. Used to be called Windows Defender ATP, Advanced Threat Protection. Excuse me. Now it's called Defender for Endpoint. It includes Defender for Identity, which mostly deals with on-premise domain controllers, looking for lateral movement, Kerberoasting, things like that. It includes Defender for Office 365, which is mainly Exchange and email, phishing, links, things like that, but it also bleeds into things like Teams and Office documents, and that's why they call it Defender for Office instead of Defender for email. Defender for Cloud Apps, which is the old name or the new name for the Cloud App Security Broker. And then also now we have Defender for Cloud. Confusing naming again. Defender for Cloud is actual Azure resources, the infrastructure stuff, and also AWS, Google Cloud. So let's just talk about really the Defender stuff for Microsoft 365. The four pillars: Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Cloud Apps, Defender for Identity, and Defender for Office 365. And most people are concerned really with Defender for Endpoint when they're talking about their security and traditional SIM and antivirus and all that kind of stuff. Well, how do we get that information if we to a SIM, if we use some other SIM? Okay? We had a SIM, it gets information from our other devices, maybe firewalls, maybe whatever else, and we've been using it for a while, so we'd like to keep it. So is there a way to get all the stuff we'd see in Defender and the Defender portal over into that SIM? Well, not everything, but you can get a lot of information, the alerts and the events, and then when they pop up in your other SIM, then you can go and look in the Defender portal, which you should do. You have to use that Defender portal for investigations and everything else. Yeah, you can probably get by a little bit in a third-party SIM, but it's going to be tough. So what are our options? Well, I have them on the board here. There's an older method. It's called Windows Defender ATP, API. It's an enterprise app method, so it uses API permissions, OAuth permissions, to get events, alerts from some API that's being exposed. In this case, it's the Defender for Endpoint API, which used to be called Windows Defender ATP. So this is only going to pull alerts from that service, not from the Defender for Cloud Apps, not from Defender for Identity, not from the Defender MDX, the Defender portal's not pulling it from there. So this is going to give you limited information. I'll show you that one, but I would probably stay away from that one unless for some reason you really like it. My experience is the events that come over, depending on your SIM, aren't super feature rich. The other way is not new or old. It's still in wide use. Defender Streaming API. It's not an enterprise app method, though. Microsoft built this into the Defender portal itself and allows the Defender portal to send a lot of Defender information to an event hub, an Azure event hub. So you will have to have an Azure subscription, which everyone probably does, to capture their Entra logs and things like that. So and it'll be a push method to send it over there, and then your SIM will have to be set up to pull it out of that. So you'll have to just follow whatever your SIM documentation is to get events from an event hub. And then the newest method, Graph Security API. This is an enterprise app. This actually allows the app to go in and pull really any security information you want. You can get vulnerability stuff, threat stuff, alerts, incidents, of course. So anything that could be exposed by the Graph API, which is, all of it really, your SIM can pull. So it's up to your SIM. What's it going to do? Because on the SIM end, they have an application that you don't get to deal with a lot of times. They just build it themselves. That application comes to your tenant, authenticates using an enterprise app, which is the security principle. You have to get that enterprise app permissions to pull those OAuth permissions to pull those security events or whatever other telemetry you might want it to pull, vulnerability information, secure store stuff. You have to give that app permission to pull that out, and it's up to the back-end SIM's application, whoever that SIM is, to actually pull that information. That's up to them. Now, you can't tell them what to pull. It's their application that's pulling it. You're just providing the permissions and the method, the security principle, which is what really an enterprise app is, that's actually going to pull that stuff. So let's take a look here. And for time's sake, I think I will show you let's look at the first one, or the middle one, sorry. The streaming one, which is one you're really tempted to do because it's kind of easy to set up. Here's the Defender portal. I'm going to scroll to the bottom and go to Settings, because what I'm looking for is the streaming API. And that is under this Microsoft Defender XDR section. And then it's right here, Streaming API. Couldn't be more obvious. So you click on Add, and then you tell it what you want it to do. All right. So you can have it forward stuff to Azure storage. You could do that, and that you might want to do that in addition, because that could be long-term storage. The Event Hub only will hold stuff as long as the Event Hub is configured to hold stuff 180 days. If you want it to be long storage, and that costs money, you can send it to a lesser cost Azure storage for long-term. Up to you. Something for another day. So forward events too, you'll have to get the Event Hub resource ID from Azure. You just go to Azure, find the Event Hub, go to the resource ID, just copy it and paste it right in here. It will look something like this. Then you got to tell it, this is actually going to be the Event Hub namespace. Sorry, right here, it doesn't say that, but this is the Event Hub namespace. Yeah, again, Azure, confusing. Then the Event Hub name is Event Hub's themselves are inside of Event Hub namespaces, and you can have multiple Event Hubs inside of there. So you actually type in the name of that Event Hub here. So it's a namespace on the top, the actual Event Hub right here, and then you tell it what you would like it. I'm going to move my picture over here. Then you tell it what you would like to capture. Now, probably you're going to want alert info and evidence. Behavior info, behavior entities. This is actually new. This comes from, a lot of it comes from the Defender for Cloud Apps, from its behavioral end user behavior analytics capability. That's actually new as of, I think it showed up in May. It's June now. It might have showed up in June. But it was in preview before that. Now it's showing up, which is nice. So we're going to leave that off for now. What else? Well, you got email in here. These are email events. Your SIM, you may have already connected it to Office 365 to pull this. You probably don't want to do it twice. So again, it'll be specific to your SIM as to whether you want to get all this email information, all the email events, stuff going back and forth, attachments. These aren't alerts because we already selected alerts. This is just extra email information. Apps and identities. Yep, identity logon events, again from Entra Cloud App Events. So this is two different parts of the Microsoft 365 pool. You may also, again, be getting this information using a different method, using your SIM. So again, maybe you want this, maybe you don't. There's one in here that's missing from mine that I just saw, devices. Devices will be in here if you had Defender for Endpoint enabled in Defender. I don't have it in this tenant. Oops, I'm sorry. But you'll see devices, and devices has a lot of subcategories. Processes that are running, network information, all that device information that you might want for investigations. You can pull that in as well. So this, if your SIM can use it, and if your SIM pulls it, great, select that. Again, look at your SIM documentation. Some SIM documentations aren't that great. I'll just tell you that right now. You may have to get them on the phone and ask them, hey, what do I choose exactly? And you might want to go beyond the sales engineer to get this information, because sales engineers are sales engineers. They don't really know that much in-depth information. So all of this stuff is going to go to an event hub where it takes up space. Then we go over to the SIM, we follow its documentation to tell it we want you to pull information from this event hub and then surface it somehow, and however your SIM surfaces it. All right, so that's that was option B on my slide. Option A was using the Defender for Endpoint only API, and that'll be an enterprise app. And option 3 was the new way that I would recommend, that is using the straight up Defender Security Graph API. All right, so let's switch over, because if you want to use those two methods, there's nothing really you do in here in this portal. You do those things from the Microsoft side strictly as enterprise apps, and then you tell your SIM to go fetch it. So what your SIM is probably going to have you do is make an enterprise app. Actually, they'll have you make an app registration, which will in turn make an enterprise app. These are kind of two different faces of a coin. The app registration will be given OAuth permissions. The enterprise app is actually the thing that's going to go get the information, the authenticator, or the service principal, if you will. So let's switch over. And here I'm on enterprise apps already inside of the Entra admin portal. I'm going to click on new registration. I'll call it SIM integration. Okay. And again, your SIM may tell you to choose one of these supported account types or the other. Probably it's going to just be accounts in this directory, because you're going to use your own enterprise app security principle to do this work. I'm not going to do anything else here. Again, follow your SIM instructions. Going to go ahead and complete that. That also created an enterprise app that your SIM may want the app ID, may want you to create a secret there. It just depends on how they have things set up. All right, so I'm just going to go to the basics here. I'm going to click on API permissions. Click on add a permission. And if you're going to do the new method, you're going to use this Microsoft Graph. The old method is kind of weird. You got to go looking for this one. I probably don't even have it in this tenant. I'd be looking for Windows Defender ATP. I don't have it in this one because I don't have Defender for Endpoint in this tenant. But if I had Defender for Endpoint working, onboarded, licensed, I would see it here. And then I would choose, alerts from that source, or, whatever. There aren't too many things that you can choose to just follow your SIM. Again, I wouldn't recommend doing this because it's only devices, Defender for Endpoint. All right, so the newer way we would do is Microsoft Graph. And probably it's going to be application permissions, so the application can do work without a separate user doing the being delegated for these permissions. So I'm going to go to that. I'll scroll down a bit because more than likely it's all going to be down. Under security. All right. So I have security alerts. Probably want those. And again, remember in Defender, you have alerts, which are the individual something happened type of events. Alerts can get correlated and put into incidents using the Defender correlation engine, or you can actually do it yourself. You can move alerts that you think are associated into one incident. This is what Defender does this automatically, but you can also help it out. So you'll want to do alerts probably almost for sure. Security events, these are the older alerts. Your SIM may have you do those as well. Hopefully not, because those are the version 1 alerts. And then security incidents, yeah, we probably want those too. We want all that information. Different SIMs, they might just use incidents, because a lot of times incidents will have alert information inside of them. So again, up to your SIM provider. But in addition to that, they might want other information. Let's see, identity, health, security actions, things like that, other telemetry. So it might not just be what I've chosen here. It could be a lot of other things. The more it asks for, the better, I think, because it means your SIM manufacturer is actually on the ball and creating their product to do more and more and more. Here's threat hunting, threat indicators. There's vulnerability down here. So all sorts of stuff that's part of the Defender suite. Okay? It just, again, depends on your SIM. So I'm going to click on add permission there. And I would actually grant admin consent. You got to do that. And then your SIM will ask you, well, give me this, give me that. It might be the enterprise app ID. It might be a secret here along with the client ID. Probably it's going to be that, so you'll generate a secret. It'd be nice if you could generate a certificate for that, because that's more secure. You don't have to leave the secret in their code. Again, up to your SIM. So once you've done that, you configure the SIM, things should start flowing. All right? And that's pretty much it. Those are your options. None of them are super great, I mean, Microsoft expects you to be in the Defender portal doing all this stuff. There's no magic here in transferring stuff to a SIM. This is all under the cover. Somebody had to build every single little path of how things go over. Even my description of these things should really tell you that. Make this a little bigger for you. So those are your 3 options. The older Windows Defender ATP API only gets Defender for Endpoint. The a brand new way is also an app method that I just showed you that can get anything that's available in the graph. So at least alerts and incidents is probably what you're going to pull, but your SIM may be more robust than that. May say, hey, let's pull threat indicators, let's pull device info, let's pull all this stuff. So that'd be great too. And then the other current method is what Microsoft calls a Defender Streaming API, where you do it all in the Defender portal. You tell Defender to send all this information, and you saw there's various stuff you can send over to an event hub, and then your SIM picks it up from the event hub. So there's going to be a delay there. You may want you may want to do that to keep events for a little longer. Again, you can send stuff to Azure storage to keep it even long term, more than that. So that's not a bad idea. Your SIM may be keeping it long term, so that may be the solution. A lot of different working parts here. Again, no magic, but that's basically how you do it. Okay, everybody, stay safe out there.